Hello and thank you for tuning into another video of NKservices. Today we're going to be looking at purifying your water for water-fed pollen, and the methods in which you can go about purifying your water. So the first thing you need to do if you're considering upgrading from traditional cleaning to water-fed pollen, or simply you're just changing your career and going into water-fed pollen, the first item you need to purchase is this. A TDS stick. This is to measure the total dissolved substances in your water, because of using to clean the water there's chlorine, and there's also minerals added to the water for health benefits, but also that of passing through all the piping to keep the water safe for human consumption. So this measures how many parts per million are inside your water. So you need to establish if you're in a soft water area or hard. I live in Doncaster in South Yorkshire in England. We have quite hard water. By putting the TDS stick in and taking a reading, just leaving it to settle. So I have 312 parts per million substances in this water. So if I was to throw this water onto the window and dried, it would be a mess. The TDS stick, I'll do another video later as to how that works and how that takes such a reading. So how do you go about reducing that into a safe amount for you to be able to leave it on someone's window when cleaning it, leaving it spot free and good quality to leave dry? If you're in a soft area, as in your water might be 0.50 for instance, you would use perhaps 2 DI vessels full of resin. Now a bag of resin normally costs between £70 to £80 for a 25 kilogram bag. In a soft area, it's more cost effective to use 2 DI vessels to run your garden hose through. It produces quite fast water for you to fill up your tank if you're using a fan mounted system, and that will strip the water of these minerals and reduce it down to 0.00. However, for hard water people like myself, it's not cost effective to do that. I've decided to use this particular reverse osmosis from Pure Freedom, a company which you might recognise the name of, and this is a 450 gallon per day unit. Each one of these membranes produces 150 gallons per day, an AF3. So just a quick look at my setup. Now I run this from an outside tap. Because I have poor water pressure here, I have a smaller hose pipe. It's a 6mm internal diameter. I was a little bit lazy. I used to run it from your normal 11mm hose pipe. I've not changed my taps over here, so I've just simply cut that and put an extension piece in here. When you buy these systems, you normally have this on top of 3 channels underneath. Now I purchased this one from Pure Freedom, as I mentioned. So what do you get in those canisters? The first canister I've just taped over with black, mostly because this was in the sunlight and the black was to stop the UV rays from penetrating it, creating algae on top of the benefits of what that was actually doing. Your first canister is this, a sediment filter. Now basically the sediment filter is just doing that. It's taking the sediments out of the water, your big chunks. There might be grit, there might be sand, etc. in the water. Now prepare to be shocked. This got changed only a couple of months ago. You can see it's a lovely shade of brown. Now this always puts me off drinking tap water, because it starts pure white. Okay. Now that sediment filter will last quite a while, however. You can see it's quite a thick filter. Now normally, as I mentioned, you get 3 of these. The first one being the sediment, then you have 2 units which are carbon blocks. The carbon is designed to strip the chlorine out of the water, which makes it safe for human consumption. Okay. The reason for stripping the chlorine out is pretty much just to protect your membranes, which purify your water. So all these pre-filters are not purifying your water, they are simply protecting the membranes which are doing the heavy work of producing your pure water. So there's normally 2 carbon blocks. However, I've cut mine down to 2, the sediment. This, I use one of these, a Fiberdyne carbon block. It does the job of both and slightly better. Okay, so I have that set up. Now, to get the best out of your membranes, you're looking at a PSI tap pressure of 70 or over 70. My tap pressure is only 32. So before it hits my membranes, I have a pump. This booster pump will take my water up to 70 to 80 psi. And I'll show you that when it gets going. That then goes up into here and it splits off into the 3 membranes. As I mentioned, each one produces 150 gallons per day. You might be wondering what this is. Okay, this is to stop my water when I'm first producing. The reason being, the membranes in here under high pressure, forcing the water through, leaving the wastewater behind, which comes out here, and that just goes to your drain. Okay, so you need to be wary of that if you're on a water meter. You're taking in a lot of water, producing pure and waste. Now that causes something called TDS creep. Okay, so basically when it's not under pressure, other words when you have it turned off, both sides of the membranes, where it's normally pure inside, wastewater outside, is now mixing. It's not under pressure. Okay, so when you first turn your reverse osmosis on, and when I say first turn on, not when you first purchase it, but when you finish using it and you turn it off like I do, I only have this running about once a week, okay, which fills up a 1,000 litre tank behind this window. Now, if I turn it off for several days, that water is mixing, so when I first put the water through, out of this pipe here would still be high TDS water, which is referred to as TDS creep, because it's now suddenly shot up. And if I was to put that through my resin, I'm putting high contaminant water in there, which is wasting the resin. It will burn through it a whole lot faster. This will all become more evident when I turn the unit on. So after it's come through here with such a high reading of over 300, this will reduce it roughly down to about 0.09 TDS. Now, I'll do another video about this, but 0.09 is more than perfect for using cleaning your windows. Most people will swear by having your water down to 0.000, but this is parts per million. You can get parts per billion. Okay. Now, anything under 0.50 parts per million, you can't see with your eye. However, that is under perfect test conditions, so I wouldn't recommend leaving your water to run so high. However, I have worked with water up to 0.15 before, others have used up to 0.20 and still got perfect results. But if you're first beginning, I would recommend ensuring that your water is reduced down to 0.00, and that's done by your resin, which is this stuff here. It looks a bit like sand. Okay. This will deionize your water, which would basically strip all the rest of the substances in there just finally producing H2O, pure water, okay, which comes out this the outlet, which then runs into my IBC tank, as I mentioned, opposite side of this window. Okay, when you first purchase a reverse osmosis system, you normally get one of these canisters, okay, and that's for you to use your DI, your resin. However, if you've got high water such as me, you will be burning through that really quickly. So I highly recommend changing and going for a high pressurized vessel. This is a 4.5 litre. You can get bigger ones. This suits my needs. However, many people choose to go with perhaps 11 litres. Okay, but this is more than adequate for my purpose and my needs. It means that I won't be switching that anywhere near as often as I would with this small little container. Okay, let me turn it all on and you can see it in action. Okay, so this is all in action. I'm just taking some water, it's the first batch of water coming out, just so I can highlight the TDS creep. Okay, so I mentioned that this is quite a slow system. You can see the trickle coming out here, but I have poor tap pressure. You can see that's at the light right. You can see that's at 30. No, that's 40 psi. It normally runs at about 35. Okay, so that is my tap pressure. I mentioned about the TDS creep. So this is the first reading coming out. Let's turn that on. Okay, 34, let me just fill up a bit. Now, please feel free to test this out yourself. The reason being, I did have this on just before doing this video, but I got interrupted, so I've had to redo it. So that's why it's a little bit lower than I was expecting. I was expecting that to read over 100. Okay, so you imagine putting that into a small canister of resin, or even a 4.5 litres. You put in high TDS in, so you're going to be burning through your resin quite fast. Okay, so I normally leave that to go for a couple of minutes, but I also need the aid of the booster pump. Okay, so you can see that's increased its flow once it gets going, and that's taking it up to 70. So what I will be doing is just keep testing that until it's down to an adequate level for me to then put it onto my DI. Okay, so it's down to 0.21 at the moment. Now whilst I'm just doing this, even though I have it connected up to my DI vessel, I mostly don't use it. I've not changed the resin in there for quite a while, mostly because I'm happy, and you've seen in my other videos, that's 0.13. My TDS in the tank is 0.06. I'm more than happy to work with that and get quality results on my window cleaning. Okay, so I've just left this running for maybe a couple of minutes. You'll be able to see on the timer underneath the video. Okay, that's down to 0.11 now, so you can see it's dropping dramatically. Okay, so this is the reason I've got that tap. I will just turn the pump off, turn the tap, connect it up and turn it on quickly, so just bear with me. Okay, so I've connected that back into the inlet. Just for the purpose of this video, I've switched it from going into my tank to going into here, so you can see the reading. Okay, so this is from the outlet. Now you can see it's not a brilliant high flow. It's not going to be absolutely gushing to fill up my 1,000 litre IBC, if it was from empty, it would take 36 hours, leaving the pump on running all that time under the 70 psi. Now you might be lucky, you might have high water pressure where you live, or you might be extremely lucky and just have soft water. Now you can have a choice. You can go for a bigger reverse osmosis unit like a 4040. That allows you to connect up a normal hose, and you can just flush it with your normal tap pressure and fill up your tank. Okay, it's a much bigger system, and you can look into that in your own time. So you can see this has reduced it from over 300 down to 0.07, whereas before the DI it was 0.11. So for me, I'm happy putting that into my tank and using that. Okay, so that's perfectly fine. If that was a fresh batch, that would have stripped it back down to 0.00. But I wasn't going to do that for the sake of the video, because this is what I work with, and I'm happy at 0.08 or 0.07. But after a bit when it works its way through, full of this water, that will drop down to maybe 0.6, as I've been using 0.6 for the time being. Okay, so if you do have any questions about this system, this setup, please put it in the comments below. If you're not currently subscribing, then please do, or even just like the video, that would help me out quite a lot. Okay, thank you for watching.